Welcome to Reddit Echoes. This is a place for stories people carry quietly. Stories they don't tell friends. Stories they don't tell family. Not because they're unbelievable, but because once you say them out loud, everything changes. These are real confessions from Reddit. Moments where trust broke, boundaries disappeared, and silence lasted far too long. There are no easy villains here, no clean endings. Just people trying to live with the truth after it finally comes out. Story 1. Discovering a husband's secret child with a younger neighbor. I don't even know where to begin, because for a long time I thought I was just being paranoid. My husband and I have always been comfortable financially. We built a good life together. He works in real estate, buying old, deteriorated buildings, fixing them up and selling them. I trusted him completely. We had a neighbor, a young woman, 16 years younger than me. She lived with her grandmother, and they were barely scraping by. When the grandmother inherited a large apartment from the elderly woman she cared for, it looked like their luck had finally changed, but they still struggled to pay the bills. I noticed early on that the granddaughter had a crush on my husband. It wasn't subtle, but when I brought it up, he brushed it off. He told me he ignored it, that if she ever crossed a line, he would shut it down immediately. I wanted to believe him. I told myself I was being insecure. At some point, she mentioned that historical buildings were her passion. That was all it took. My husband started taking her along when he visited properties, abandoned buildings, old places, sometimes places only he had access to. He framed it like mentorship, like he was being kind. Then, she got pregnant. Neither of us asked who the father was. I didn't even think to. We agreed to help her financially. I sent her money regularly. I wanted to help. I wanted to be a good person. Eventually, she and her grandmother moved away and sold the apartment. That was 3 years ago. Last week, I got a phone call from the grandmother. She was crying when she heard my voice, barely able to speak. And then she told me the truth. The little girl wasn't just a child my husband helped support, she was his daughter. They had moved away because during my husband's rare visits, he acted like a father, and when the child started talking, they were terrified she would start calling him Dad. The grandmother told me her granddaughter felt incredibly guilty, that she was especially ashamed because I was the one who helped her the most. She was too afraid to ever call me. I went to her workplace the same day. When she saw me, she ran into the back of the restaurant. That's when I learned something else. All the money I had given her for a year, she took it, all of it, while my husband had also been secretly sending her around 1,500 euros every month for the child, without my knowledge. When my husband came back from his usual evening jog, I confronted him. He didn't deny it. He told me they had an affair. He told me the child was his. He told me he had already done a paternity test. He apologized. I don't remember much after that, just this heavy, sinking feeling in my chest, like the floor had disappeared. I've always compared myself to her. She was young, beautiful, effortlessly so. My husband is tall and lean, and I've gained weight over the years. Now I can't stop replaying everything. Every time I defended him, every time I told myself I was imagining things, every time I trusted him more than my own instincts. I feel lost. I feel humiliated. I feel betrayed. I feel like a clown. And I don't know how you come back from realizing your entire reality was built on a lie you helped protect.
Story 2. I didn't know what it was. This is something I've never said out loud because even thinking about it makes my stomach turn. When I was about 5 years old, there was this pink thing stuck to the wall in my sister's bathroom. It was silicone, kind of transparent, shaped like a shoe. I didn't know what it was. I honestly thought it was a toy, or slime, or something from a dollhouse that got stuck. I remember playing with it constantly. I put it in my mouth. I bit it with my teeth. I chased my brothers around with it and smacked them while laughing. They were around my age too, so none of us knew any better. Our parents worked all the time. My sister was usually gone. She always hid it in the cabinet when she left, but I would take it out the moment she was gone and play with it like it was nothing. I didn't understand why she hid it. Years later, I was online shopping with friends. We accidentally clicked into an adult store page. We were laughing. Then I saw it, that same pink shape, and in that moment, everything clicked. I don't think I've ever felt that level of horror so fast in my life. Story 3. We're married, but not like that. People never know what to call us. I married my best friend. We're both women, and we're both straight. 4 years ago, she had a health scare. She's self-employed, freelance, and struggled with health insurance. I had decent coverage through my job, so we said, screw it, and we got married. The scare turned out to be nothing. We stayed married. 3 years ago, we did it again, bought a small apartment together. Neither of us could afford anything alone. We have separate rooms, we still casually date other people, but we're committed to each other. We love each other. We're happy. And I've never been happier in my life. The love I feel for her doesn't compare to anything I felt with my boyfriends. I'm not attracted to women sexually, I know that, but what we have is deeper than friendship. People are confused. Sometimes so am I. But this works, and I don't see why something that works needs to be explained. Story 4. I let my wife have a hall pass. In 2021, I was in a car accident. Someone ran a stop sign and hit me hard enough to break my back. For a long time, doctors weren't sure if I'd ever walk again. I can now with a walker, sometimes a cane. I'm 30 years old. Because of where my spine was damaged, I can't get an erection. Therapy didn't help. It never will. My wife stayed with me through all of it. She was pregnant when it happened. She never complained, never blamed me. But in 2023, she finally told me the truth. She was struggling. Sex is important to her. Physical closeness matters to her mental health, and I felt like I was failing her. After months of talking, we made a decision. She could see someone else, with rules, respect, safety, honesty. She did, and somehow it worked. He comes over occasionally. It's not romantic, it's not emotional, it's just what it is. I know people will judge me for this, but all I feel is relief that the woman I love isn't suffering in silence anymore.